Good morning. I just got the dishwasher started. We are gonna make some sourdough. I just fed this yesterday and look how much it's doubled. That little mark is where it was when I fed it, and it's definitely doubled and bubbly. But first, Josh made me a cup of coffee. My family just headed out, so I have the house to myself this morning, which is pretty rare for me on a Friday. So I'm gonna make coffee here first. And we're gonna do some work this morning while the house is quiet. I've got some computer work. I'm gonna make a maple little latte since it's Friday morning, not the dogs in. Normally I just put half and half in my coffee, but on this Friday, we're gonna put some maple syrup. My goal is going to be to get this tablescape put away. Josh helped me a ton actually clean up after the party, but he didn't know where all this stuff goes, so I want to get this stuff put away. But I'll probably get to that later because I want to take advantage of a quiet house. I have not showered, not brushed my teeth, I've not done anything yet. I just wanted to get a cup of coffee. And then I want to take advantage of a quiet house, and we're going to get a bunch of computer work done this morning. Cheers. My big goal is to actually get a bunch of garden stuff done today. I've got a ton of stuff I have to plant. Basically everything needs to go into the ground. The peppers, the melons, the pumpkins, the beans. I just looked up a random sourdough recipe that I've never made before. Let me see if this makes 2 loaves of bread or just 1. I can link the recipe down below for you. Makes 1 loaf, okay, that's what I want. So we need 100 grams of bubbly starter. I don't even have any lights on. Let me turn some lights on. That's 110, but we're gonna go with that. I figured I could do stretch and fold while I get my computer work done before we head out into the garden. This recipe does give cup measurements, volume measurements, if you aren't a fan of weighing things. You can even see I'm not perfect when I weigh things. So the last recipe I was following was a very, very wet dough, very hydrated dough. And I think because I'm a beginner sourdough maker, it was hard for me to shape it. And so I wanted to try a different recipe that was a little bit stiffer so that it would be a little bit easier, I think, when it comes to shaping. And this already feels stiffer than the recipe I was following. I think the more advanced sourdough maker you are, the easier it is to work with more hydrated dough. But that's just my own thoughts. I don't know if that's actually accurate or not. I'm completely out of dish towels, so I'm gonna put a piece of plastic wrap over this. And that is the start of our sourdough. So I will do my stretch and folds throughout the day. I think this is gonna be like my 6th loaf of sourdough. Or just leave it there for now. Let's get some laundry going because I have no dish towels and I have a hard time living life without dish towels, so let's get this started. Now it's time to get to work, take advantage of a quiet house. I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes. I'm gonna take my cup of coffee and we're gonna head outside. Boys, do you wanna come with me? And this is gonna be my office this morning. I'm gonna sit right here with my coffee. Nope, just dropped my phone. That's why I have a big case on it. My laptop, and I'm gonna probably work, well, I'm for sure gonna work here for 30 minutes, and then I will go inside and do a stretch and fold, and I will sit here between my stretch and folds and try to get my couple hours of computer work done I need to get done before we spend the whole afternoon in the garden planting a bunch of the summer crops. I was wondering where one of my coffee cups was this morning. One of my favorite coffee cups. You see it? It's right there. No wonder I couldn't find it this morning. I have my little puppy here. Orbit and Tibro are walking around. It's actually Orbit's birthday today, and I'm getting my computer work done. And just listen. I don't know if you can hear the birds. It is glorious. But my timer has gone off. Yes, I'm sitting here in my socks, and my timer's gone off, so it is time to go inside and do a stretch and fold. Oh, you got a piece of grass on you. This little dog had a haircut, and you can see he's lost all of his puppy black and brown, and now he's kind of like a silver fox, huh, bud? Huh, buddy? Yep. And that little Orbit over there, he turns 10 today. That's crazy. You, I'm talking about you, bud. Oh, Tibro is 9.5. They are both mini Australian Shepherds. Orbit. Happy birthday. Oh. Love you, bud. So I just washed my hands, and that's gonna also help me be able to do a stretch and fold without having this dough stick to my hands. I think this recipe said I need to do this 3 times. So hopefully on my final stretch and fold, I will be done with my computer work, and then I can go get showered up and we can go hang out in the garden. I usually do stretch and folds until the dough kind of naturally comes up onto a ball and it doesn't want to do any more stretch and folds. I guess I could just leave this here. Back to my computer work. I got my work done. My video is exporting. So what I'm going to do is go do one more stretch and fold while that is exporting. And then I'm going to go take a shower and we can start working on our outside projects. Here's a little sneak peek of something I have in my laundry room. That's a table that I want for in here for a folding area, but I think I want to stain it first. I got it on Facebook Marketplace, and obviously with the garden and everything, that has not happened. But here is where I keep some of my linens and those placemats. So I think what I'm going to do while I'm in here is I'm going to go ahead and rotate these towels that we started earlier. All right, back to the kitchen. My coffee should be ready for me, and I also think that my dishwasher is done, and it is. But I'm happy to have all that stuff put away and to go into the weekend with a beautiful table. Here we go. So I'm gonna get this unloaded, and then I'm gonna go take a shower. It's kind of hot right now, so I'm gonna need to let this cool a little bit. Dishwasher is unloaded. So what that means now, it's 10:40. I'm gonna sit on my back patio and eat breakfast right there in the sunshine, in the quiet, listening to the birds. Then I'm gonna go shower, get ready, and we're gonna start planting outside. Well, that was one of the most relaxing breakfasts by myself, sitting here enjoying actually the honeybees. I just watched a ton of honeybees while I was sitting here enjoy these flowers here. But I just got a text, so it's time to go inside, that my milk delivery came. Boys, do you want to come inside? There's Tibro. Nope, the other ones, they're wanting to stay outside. That's fine. Okay, so here's what the kitchen looks like. I got my breakfast stuff put away, which is nice. We did the dishes. Sourdough is just sitting there, and my milk and egg delivery is here. Once a week, I get some local milk delivered and a dozen eggs, but I think I could probably end the egg delivery here because my chickens are starting to lay, so I need to bring those inside. But I wanted to show you actually what my front porch is looking like. Well, let's open this. So I know that this is not super colorful or anything, but this is a stretch for me to actually decorate my front porch. I went shopping with you all and I got some pillows for here, and you know, I just wasn't in love with them. They didn't fit in the chair, and I ended up returning those and getting these really neutral pillows. So I got those. I really like them. I had to return the rug I bought because I couldn't open and close this door. And I also got this wreath. Now, one thing I did not take into account is the fact that this wreath does not contrast very well with my door, but I don't really care because I love this wreath. I was looking on Amazon for wreaths, for eucalyptus wreaths, and then I didn't have any that I had to have. So I just Googled wreaths that were eucalyptus, and this is a real eucalyptus wreath and also real lavender. So this thing smells incredible. Anytime I go in and out of my door, you get this whiff of eucalyptus and lavender, and I'm in love with it. And it probably would look a little better if there was a little more contrast, but I don't care because I love it. So I still want to, at some point, maybe get some planters to put on either side here. Now this area does not get very much sun because it's this covered porch, and the way that this house faces, it just does not get very much sun. So maybe ferns or something like that would work. But for now, I'm happy with my few new pillows. This was a hanging basket a friend gifted me, so I put that here. And I got the wreath and the new rug. And even though it's simple and pretty neutral, I love it. Now, one thing I do love is Josh pressure washed this deck on Wednesday. There was quite a bit, oh, he missed a spot, but that's okay. That is chicken mess. There was quite a bit of chicken mess because I was letting my chickens free range. But that is all cleaned up. Now, he also pressure washed the front of the house. This is vinyl siding, and we didn't pressure wash it last year, and it was so bad. So I'm really grateful to have this nice and clean again. I don't think it's been this clean since we moved in. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is go inside, take a shower. This probably should be pressure washed right here, but that's okay. Oh, what I need to do first is get this milk in the fridge and these eggs in the fridge. Hey, Tibro. I am now ready for the day. It is 12:51. I did a little bit more computer work. I did my final stretch and fold on the sourdough. This now is just going to sit here and rise. I'm going to shape it tonight. It said it needs to rise 50%, so it could be anywhere from 8 to 12 hours, the recipe said, depending on how warm your house is. My house is probably, I could tell you how warm it is right now. I'm gonna grab my hat. It's 68 degrees in here right now, so I'm thinking sometime tonight I will go ahead and do a shape on it, and then I'll pop it in my fridge, let it rise, and I'll bake it in the morning. Getting my hat on. I already have my water filled up from earlier. So what we're gonna do now is go out into the grow room and just see how much we can get planted today. Okay, so since last time we were out here, we have some germination. I think what I'm gonna do today is just take all of these peanuts outside. Maybe I won't, because I'm out of trays again. So I will not take all of them outside, but I can take the ones that have germinated outside, and I'm just gonna let these kind of sprout / harden off at the same time. I can see the Jack Be Little sprouted today. We've got quite a few that still haven't sprouted, but I'm gonna work on planting pumpkins today if I can. Pumpkins and peppers are the big goal today. Let's see, this is kind of where, that looks like a critter. Something dug that up. See, this is the problem with starting peanuts outside, is I think something dug up a peanut there. That's a peanut that's just sprouting. Get those in the sun. This is what a peanut looks like when it has sprouted. There's one of our honeybees. I did plant some things yesterday. Last night I came out here in the evening, and along this first bed here, I planted rattlesnake beans that you can use as green beans, or you can dry them and use them as pinto beans. So that's hopefully what will come up here. And then along that back row, where I'm heading to next, that is where I planted black beans that are a pole bean variety. And hopefully we will get black beans along that back edge as well. And here you can see where my pumpkins have been. These are the ones I would really like to get into the ground. I also have the melons and the cucumbers somewhere. Those are the cucumbers right there. And all the zucchini. I did not realize I started 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 zucchini. No one, at least me, I don't need 12 zucchini plants. So I'm gonna text my mom and my mother-in-law and see if they want some zucchini. And what I'm gonna do is just try to figure out where I'm gonna put these. I think what I'm gonna do is have a bed of melons. Petite. I've never had the best luck growing melons. I'm gonna put like with like. It's a watermelon. That is a pumpkin. Wow, I started a lot of these petite ones, which is probably good because they're only supposed to get 2 pounds. There's a watermelon and sweet. Okay, so let's do this first. Should we have this bed be melons? I've never dedicated a whole bed to melons before. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 plants. Could I fit 16 plants here? I think so. Yesterday along this trellis, this is going to be a zinnia bed, I planted, I don't remember the name of them. They are a new pole bean to me. I'll put a picture here and the name here of what they are. They're supposed to get 16 feet tall, so I'm hoping they meet in the middle, and they're supposed to be really delicious to eat. But the reason I'm really excited about them is they're supposed to have a purple flower. I've never tasted them, so I don't know if I like them. But I'm hoping to get this trellis completely covered in something really beautiful. And now, I guess this is going to become a melon bed, and hopefully we can have the melons just grow out into the walkway here, and we can have some delicious melons. In the inside of this bed, I have some kale plants, and then I have some, I think they're called Monaco orange snapdragons. So my thought is the melons are going to spew and grow out into the walkway. The kale and these snapdragons will grow tall in the middle. At least that is my thought. Hopefully we like this petite one because I've got a lot of those. Oh wait, sweet passion. So when I start, mostly my pumpkins, but I'm doing my melons the same way I do my pumpkins, is I don't want them to get too big. I basically just want them to start growing, and I hardly see any roots. I can see one root there and one root there, but I don't want this to get super root bound or anything like that because melons and pumpkins do not love getting disturbed. So if I can plant them with hardly any disruption of the roots, that's good. So I'm trying to hold this together and get this in the ground. That's going to be my marker of what it is for right now. This one, the roots are a little bit bigger. And I'm going to put some soil in here so that this doesn't blow over until I have a chance to mark these properly. I have petite Chris melons, 6 of those. And then we have 6 of these sweet passion melons. These are all like a cantaloupe one. One variety, it must be this one because it doesn't say petite in the name, gets about 3 to 4 pounds. That variety gets about 2 to 3. And then we have 1, 2, 3 watermelons. And my super fancy labeling system. So I think this will help these from kind of blowing away until I have time to do something different. Right now I have no time to do something different because I have all those pumpkins I need to plant, but also I have so many flowers that I still need to get into the ground. All those over there. I've got my eucalyptus that needs to get in the ground. And this is what is another big project. I didn't show you this earlier. Look at this. These are all my peppers. And I have no idea where those are going to go. Oh my goodness, my friend. I thought this whole time I was growing my mother-in-law a passion fruit, and I always thought that was a weird looking passion fruit. That's not a passion fruit. That's a radish. Okay, so I started 5 passion fruits and none of the seed germinated. What did I do wrong? You tell me. I wonder if this was just, I don't know. What? I'm confused. Darn. Okay, well, I'm going to have to tell my mother-in-law I have no passion fruit for her. Maybe I could find one at a local greenhouse. I thought I was going to do her a favor by starting it for her. I was over at her house and we were talking and she's like, look at the seed I got. And she was going to start it. And I was like, oh, I could do that for you because clearly I'm already taking care of a ton of babies. What would be a couple more passion fruits? But I grew her 1 radish. My mom gave me passion fruit seeds that she bought in Hawaii. But we don't have time to start those. So now I'm going to have to do some research, see if I can find her a passion fruit. Mother's Day is in 2 days, so she might be getting... I'm going to a plant sale tomorrow. Our town, or a town next to us, has a plant sale, and I'm going to go to it. So maybe I could find her a passion fruit there. Shoot. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I guess since I'm standing right here, is I'm going to figure out what peppers are going into this bed. This is going to be a pepper bed, and that bed in the middle is going to be a pepper bed, and the bed at the very end is going to be a pepper bed. This one right here is going to be a melon bed, but since I guess I'm standing right here by these peppers, let's figure out what peppers we're going to put over here. Look how good these look. I mean, minus that one little leaf, but okay, so these are Mad Hatter, I think, or Red Flame. So this is a cayenne pepper. So maybe this will be a hot pepper bed. Why not? Red Flame. I'm only going to do 2 peppers deep in the back here. Last night I planted, no, I can't remember. It was either pinto beans or black beans. I don't know. I planted some kind of bean there. Red Flame. Let's put that there. The name of the game is Shuffle the Peppers. These are peanuts.
This right here is what takes me a long time, is trying to figure out where to put everything. And I was trying to figure out how many peppers I wanted in each bed and what peppers I wanted in each bed. So at some point I end up deciding that this bed that we're working on right now is going to be a hot pepper bed. So I put 4 types of hot peppers in this bed. I put cayenne peppers, Mad Hatter peppers, the Ahai crystal peppers, and Sugar Rush peach peppers. I love making hot sauce out of the Ahai Crystal and the Cayennes. Mad Hatters are new to me, and Sugar Rush Peach Peppers are just delicious, and they've always done really well, so I always like to have them in my garden. I'm going to call my mother-in-law right now. Hey, I am setting out my peppers right now, and I want to know, what kind of peppers do you want? I have lots. I have Red Flame, which is a cayenne pepper. I have Mad Hatter, which I've never grown. It's supposed to be like a little red pepper. Ahai Crystal, which is a hot pepper. Sugar Rush Peach, which is a hot pepper, but not crazy hot, kind of like a jalapeno hot. I have serranos, jalapenos, bananas, Anaheims, and bell peppers. And poblanos. And you can have whatever you want and as many as you want, because I have enough. So my mother-in-law is going to come over this afternoon and do some shopping, because I told her I have plenty to share, and she's not sure exactly what she wants. So she kind of wants to come over and shop the plants. I told her I've got some flowers she can take and all sorts of things. But I am blown away, you guys, by these plants. Never have I ever grown such a beautiful plant start. And I'm going to do something different this year. I am not going to top my plants. Normally what I do is I actually cut the tops off, and then people say it's supposed to help, produce a bushier plant. I'm not going to do that this year. You can see on some of these, like this Ahai Crystal, it's like it topped itself. It is growing 2 stems off the top. I did not cut this. This is just the way it's growing. It's growing some shoots here. It's split up here. And we're just going to see what happens if I don't top any of these, because I did watch a reel that said you don't have to do that. So we're doing something different. And I think I'm going to have enough peppers. I'm probably going to plant up a second green stalk with peppers that I started myself. And so it'd be interesting to see the peppers I started in the green stalk versus the peppers that I purchased in the green stalk, and see if one of them does better. Because it's not really a fair comparison to see how peppers do in the green stalk as opposed to what peppers do in the garden, when I'm comparing peppers I purchased versus peppers I started. Does that make sense? I'm going to put either flowers or pumpkins on the end here. So this bed is all figured out. These are the plants that are going to go up to the green stalk and or to my mother-in-law that she can shop from. Now that I have a hot pepper bed, I'm thinking that this next bed that we go work on is going to be a bell pepper bed. These peppers that I'm going to put in here are Yellow Monster. They are called Yellow Monster, and if you let them ripen on the vine, they will turn yellow. But you can also harvest them when they're green as a green bell pepper. They're just not fully ripe. In the grocery store, when you buy a green bell pepper, you're buying an unripe yellow, orange, or yellow bell pepper. And so I can do that with these Yellow Monster peppers. And this whole entire bed is going to be one variety of pepper. So in the front here, we have ranunculus in this bed, and then we're going to have peppers. And then on the back row, we are going to have, I can't remember if those are Oregon snow peas or sugar snap peas, but some kind of sweet pea that we can chew on and enjoy as a snack. And the next pepper bed, I'm just going to grab these trays, is going to be, I think, Anaheims, bananas, and poblanos. I might need 4 pepper beds. If you can't tell, I like peppers. These are Anaheims, so maybe I'll do 2, 4, 6, 8 Anaheims and 8 serranos, and then I'll have to have a 4th bed because I'm doing 16 pepper plants per bed. So let me just grab this real quick. Ooh, don't want to do that. I'm going to grab this with 2 hands. I just talked to Josh. He's going to come help me plant. He has a little bit of time, which is awesome. So I'm going to figure out where everything goes, and he can actually go behind me and plant them, which is fantastic. So this is going to be a serrano poblano bed. So I guess I'm going to have 4 pepper beds. So that escalated quickly. But I love peppers. I love hot sauce. Can't get enough of it. And
I'll be able to gift a lot of peppers. Okay, so I was wrong. This is going to be serranos and Anaheims. And what I like to plant between these type of plants is I'll plant like lettuce and cilantro and things like that between these, carrots. So it's kind of a polyculture in the bed. In the back I have some peas. In the front I have ranunculus. And I'll probably put a zucchini plant or pumpkin plant going off the edge here. I always can use the help of someone to come behind planting. I don't think Josh has ever helped me plant starts before. I don't think he's ever has, which is awesome. Okay, that bed looks beautiful. So I think I want to put a zucchini plant on the end here, and I want a zucchini plant on the end here. So I actually changed my mind. I'm gonna do Chinese white pumpkin here and here. These are a little white pumpkin. And I'm just gonna get these planted real quick. Now over here, I did give myself a little bit more space here, so I am going to put a zucchini plant here.
If you're wondering what I'm doing here, I am burying my tulip stems. I have been burying my compost in one of my garden beds all winter. Kitchen scraps, basically, things that my chickens won't eat. And I can tell in that bed the life in the bed, the worms and things like that, the health of the soil is just booming. And so I'm starting to do that in other beds as well, just burying compost or what will turn into compost to feed the worms, because worms like to eat breaking down organic matter. And so I had a space here, so I just buried my tulip stems between where I'm putting in some zucchinis.
The next and final bed in the main garden that's going to be peppers is going to be banana and poblano.
I knew that there was a chance Josh was going to be able to come out and help me on this day plant peppers. And so that's why I have just kind of been placing my plants where I want them and not actually figuring out where I want them and planting them at the same time, because Josh isn't sure where I want things. So I figured if I was just going around putting things where I want them, and if Josh could come help me later actually plant them, then that would be perfect. So because he is going to be able to come help me, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is, to me, kind of a little bit of a mental puzzle, trying to figure out where exactly I want to put things, what type of peppers I want to put with what type of peppers, and which beds. When I start my garden season, I have a very rough plan, but it always changes a little bit. I am sticking to my plan pretty closely, but I haven't, on my plan, I knew which beds I wanted 3 of my beds to be pepper beds, but I didn't know which peppers I wanted in which bed, and I didn't know how many plants I wanted in each bed. So that's kind of what I'm figuring out is, do I want my banana peppers with my poblanos? Do I want all my hot peppers, and which hot peppers in what bed? And so that's a little bit of the mental puzzle that I've been kind of working out here. Now, I didn't do that with the melons. You saw me, I went ahead and figured out where I wanted my melons, and I went ahead and got those in the ground. But these peppers, I am just figuring out where they go and then moving on to the next bed. So when I was just messing with the peppers there, I was trying to figure out which peppers I want to save for my green stock as well. And so that was another thing that I was trying to think through when I was kind of shuffling all those peppers around. Now this bed has tomatoes in it. The very back row here along the trellis, that is going to be tomatoes. Those are my Roma tomatoes. And in the middle of this bed, I'm going to put peppers. I don't have quite enough peppers to fill this whole bed out. That big fluffy plant there in the corner, or round plant, that's a lavender plant. And so I figured what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put these peppers that I decided I want in this bed in the middle, and then on each end of the bed I'll figure out something else to put in those spots. Now that I figured that out, I'm going to go figure out where I want to put my pumpkins. We came down here looking at the pumpkins, we planted the melons, and then we moved on to peppers, and now we are back at the pumpkins. So these are pumpkins I started about 3 weeks prior to me putting them in the ground. When I start my pumpkins indoors, I'm not really trying to get a huge jump start on the growing season when it comes to pumpkins. Like tomatoes and peppers, I start them really early because I am trying to get those plants relatively large before I put them out in the ground or out in the garden. But pumpkins, I just want a little bit of a jump start. Pumpkins, melons, cucumbers, zucchinis do not love being transplanted. So I am just trying to give them a little bit of help by actually getting them to germinate in a little pot. And then as soon as they're a little bit large, getting them out into the garden, and so that they can actually grow and their roots aren't going to be disturbed too much, letting them get too big. I've had a problem with birds or mice or some sort of critter eating my pumpkin seeds if I plant them directly into the ground. And so that's why I do like to start them a little bit early. So here I am just trying to figure out where exactly I want my pumpkins to go and which pumpkin varieties I want with which pumpkin varieties. So I figured out one bed here. I'm going to have 2 dedicated pumpkin beds. I'm going to have pumpkins throughout the garden, but 2 of my beds are going to be primarily pumpkins with zinnias growing down the center. Zinnias get really tall. Pumpkins like to sprawl, so I like to plant zinnias down the center of the bed and then let my pumpkins grow out into the walkways. So I'm just laying out my pumpkins here where I want them, and then I see Josh is ready to help, and so I'm showing him here that I have 3 beds already set up and ready to go for him. The pepper plants are placed exactly where I want them, but I need to show him how to plant a pepper plant because he's never done it before. So here you can see one of my yellow monster pepper plants, and I'm going to have him planted about 1/4 inch up the stem. These plants look so good. Never have I ever, I've said this a couple times, grown such beautiful pepper plants before, and I am just thrilled with how healthy these look. Now these pepper plants are in my Epic Garden 6-inch pots. When I first got these pots, I thought they were a little excessive and a little big. But I think that's one of the reasons why these plants look so healthy. Look at these roots. They are not root bound. I'm planting them at the perfect time. I had some pepper plants that I transplanted from my soil blocks into 4-inch pots and into the 6-inch pots. And the plants that I transplanted into the 6-inch pots look much better than the ones I planted into my 4-inch pots. Now, if I had not seen the side-by-side comparison, I would have been happy with my pepper plants in my 4-inch pots. But since I've seen the difference, when I transplant my peppers from soil blocks to the next pot before they go into the garden, I will always transplant them into these Epic Garden 6-inch pots because they just look so good. I can link them down below for you if you are interested in them. Now you can see that wasn't very hard to do that. Josh is going to be able to handle that no problem, but it did take a little bit of time. And so I really am grateful for Josh being able to come out here and help me because he has 2 beds with 16 plants in them. Plus he has another about 10 plants in this bed up here. He wants to start in that bed and then he's going to go to that bed, then this bed. And while he's doing that, I'm going to work on these pumpkins. So once I decided which pumpkins were going to go in this bed, then I just needed to get them planted up. So I'm going to have 2 dedicated pumpkin beds. Like I said earlier, there's going to be a pepper bed, a pumpkin bed, a pepper bed, a pumpkin bed, which is the one I'm at now, and then there's going to be one more pepper bed. Pumpkins are one of my absolute favorite things to grow. Well, some of my favorite crops to grow are crops that you plant them and then you just watch them grow and you don't have to touch them until harvest. I love it. So pumpkins, potatoes, garlic, drying beans. They're just such easy crops and they're so satisfying to watch, especially a pumpkin. I love growing potatoes because I love harvesting them, but a pumpkin is just one of these magical things. It's a small little seed you plant. It forms a relatively small plant. You put that plant in the ground, the plant ends up getting huge, and then you see these flowers that come, and then you can hand pollinate them, or you don't have to, but I enjoy hand pollinating. And then you can watch this tiny little flower turn into a ginormous pumpkin. And it's almost like you can watch it grow in front of your eyes. You can go out there day after day and you can watch it get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just really, really fun to me. So that's why I'm trying to have 2 full beds dedicated to pumpkins. We do eat these pumpkins, but we decorate with a lot of these pumpkins, and I supplement my chickens' food with these pumpkins. And I just really enjoy growing pumpkins. And so that's why I grow a lot of pumpkins. So I'm going to have 2 dedicated beds to pumpkins, and then you'll see me throw in smaller varieties of pumpkins throughout the garden. Like you saw me put a butternut squash. Oh no, you didn't see me put a butternut squash. You saw me plant Chinese white pumpkins next to the peppers. I'm going to do that all over my garden. These are my big pumpkins. So these are going to be the big decorating pumpkins and the big pumpkins I end up giving to my chickens. And then the little pumpkins that I bring inside, so those are like my outside pumpkins. My little tiny pumpkins that I bring inside, they're much smaller plants. Those I will scatter throughout the garden. So here Josh has this bed of peppers planted. So in the time it took me to figure out the pumpkins, he got this one bed planted. I've got space on each end of those peppers to put something. Tomatoes look really good in the back. And then in the front, I have onions. And between those peppers, I'll probably put lettuce or radishes or carrots or things like that. Things that are pretty small. Now I have 1 pumpkin bed done. I'm going to grab some trays and I am going to try to figure out what I'm going to do in my second pumpkin bed. The first pumpkin bed I planted up were my really, really large pumpkins, and then these pumpkin varieties are a little bit smaller pumpkins, and I'm still waiting on some pumpkin plants to germinate, and so I wasn't able to fully fill out this second pumpkin bed. I am missing 3 pumpkin plants, or there's space for 3 pumpkin plants. So once those pumpkins germinate and I harden them off, I can finish planting out that pumpkin bed. And Josh is planting up here the very last pepper plant that I had already figured out what was going to go where. So once he gets that pepper plant in, we are going to go to work on the fourth pepper bed together. So that was really exciting, seeing that pepper go in. And then here at the end of this snapdragon bed, I end up putting 2 zucchini plants.
So we're on the last pepper bed we're planting. You want to start on that end?
Yeah, I was going to get the thing.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
I thought there were stakes.
I saw some right up there somewhere.
I took them already.
There's a couple right there. There's a couple hanging right there, Josh. 2.
Running low.
All of the plants that Josh and I have been planting on this day, we're not putting any fertilizer in the hole with the plant. And that's only because a couple days prior, I had taken some fish meal or blood meal. I buy that in bulk in 50, 60 pound bags. And I haven't bought one in a long time because I have a 5-gallon bucket full of it. But that's a good organic nitrogen source. And I went through and put about 2 cups of that on top of each one of the beds that I knew I was going to be planting out on this day. And so the fertilizer is already in the bed, and as Josh or I are digging the hole to plant the plant in, that organic fertilizer that was sitting on top of the bed is working its way into the hole. And so basically the reason I'm not doing it is I already did it in preparation for knowing I was going to be planting these plants. And I do fertilize my plants. I feed them about once a week, once every other week, once the growing season gets started. Just depends on how busy I am. I fertilize them with an organic fish emulsion, and it's a liquid fertilizer that I pour into a watering can, and then I water the bed with that. I didn't used to fertilize, and I can tell a big difference now that I fertilize throughout the growing season.
Oh,
Got done.
you got them all?
Got them all.
You're much faster than I am.
I've done it a few more times than you
Yeah.
have.
Well, I got those all irrigated at least.
So what Josh is doing now is staking down all the new irrigation that he just put in. I don't think I've showed you yet, but he put coils in here. So these now are being watered, which is fantastic. So is that one.
Yep.
And this is what this is looking like. So on that end, we have banana peppers, right? Yeah, banana peppers, Anaheim peppers. And then over here, we have the big pumpkins. I should say that correctly. And hopefully they'll grow into that walkway and grow down into this walkway. Here we have lots of peppers. Oh no, these are all yellow monster peppers. And then I put in a couple snapdragons. I'll probably put lettuce between some of these. The nice thing about when you put lettuce around something that'll get taller, like a pepper, is that it'll shade it out and usually grows longer. Look at this. Look at this pepper. Never have I ever grown a pepper that beautiful. I need to put that over about 2 inches. That is not center. Over here, we got most of this bed planted. I've got to go upstairs at some point and figure out if I am gonna have 1, 2, 3 more germinate that I can put here. Otherwise, I will put some seed. I've watered everything in, all these. I gotta get these planted. I'll probably give a lot of these to my mother-in-law when she comes over tonight. All of these peppers are gonna go up to the patio. My mother-in-law can shop them. I have at least 2 or 3 of every variety I started so that she could shop what she wants. She can shop a lot of the flowers that I have too. This is what this bed looks like. This I didn't put any flowers between. I don't know what I'll put between, maybe some like radishes or something. I haven't grown any radishes yet this year. I'm gonna have Josh turn on the irrigation system once we're done so that everything can get watered in that I just planted in, but he wants to finish messing with it before he turns it on. Oh, that's probably not the best place for that. I should water this in. I have not watered this. This I really need to get planted this weekend. It's cosmos. We have some zucchini there. And yeah, super, super productive. I have a couple more tomato plants. If my mother-in-law wants more tomatoes, she can have those. I cannot believe we got the peppers and pumpkins in. That is a sign that we are moving towards summer gardening. It is looking so lush out here. I cannot believe how green and colorful it has gotten in the last week and a half, or 2 weeks, I'd say maybe. I have quite a bit more planting I need to do of the flowers that I've purchased, the flowers that I've started, and then we need to start a bunch more things from seed that I'm gonna direct sow. We've got all the drying beans we need to sow. We have green beans we need to sow. I did plant carrots. I'm gonna start succession planting lettuce. I have a couple places where I have lettuce throughout the garden. I also need to succession plant some more cilantro. This is the cilantro that I planted from the seed that I bought as a spice from Azure, and I on accident bought whole coriander seed, and that's coming up. I did plant some parsley seed that's starting to come up here, which is great. And at this point, after we get the pumpkins in, and I still have to plant the cucumbers, then it'll just be direct sowing seed, stuff that I haven't started yet, and then succession planting those greens, and I don't know what else, but it's been a great, peanuts. We got to plant the peanuts too, but that'll probably happen next week because those peanuts just sprouted in the last couple days, and you can see that a lot of them haven't sprouted yet. And yeah, so it's time to do a whole full garden tour, which is going to be super exciting because a lot has changed. And I haven't done a garden tour yet this year. So we want to catch it while it's still pretty young and hasn't changed a lot. I want to thank you so much for being here. I need to go get cleaned up so my mother-in-law can come over. We might have dinner together tonight. I'm not sure. So thank you for being here. Let me pop some videos here. You can go enjoy between now and my next upload. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.